Yay. This is August 7th, 2023, session number 6. And you've got updates?
Yeah, I'll talk fast. So I just got back at 1 a.m. last night from a 3-day festival. It's called Barefoot and Free. And
Yeah.
I possibly have never worked harder or more intensely in my entire life. That was like a whole nother level. Um,
Yeah.
I had a booth at the festival. I also taught a workshop and I did music for the closing ceremony and I did one-on-one sessions with people Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was, yeah.
A lot.
Um, yeah, so I did my best to do to apply like doing booth stuff. Like I watched the trainings and I didn't get everything, but
Yeah.
I worked my hiney off because this is only the second booth I've done at an event like this. Um, I was really proud. Can I show you a little video of what the booth looked like?
Yeah. Let me
Share my
give
screen.
permission. Yeah.
I was really
Mm,
proud of how it looked. Okay,
okay.
so
Okay. Okay. Go for it.
oh wait, I have to share my screen. I forgot. I haven't had much sleep. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Can you see?
yes.
Okay, so this is just,
Oh, it's so pretty.
let me just turn the volume down. It's music in the background. But yeah, so I had
It's so
a sign made,
pretty.
I designed the sign. Um, I had, yeah, just, I was really proud of how this came together.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
it looks
the
wonderful.
yeah. So I had a friend come and she was a total angel and helped me. And there were things I didn't do particularly well. Um, but there were a lot of things I did new and better. Wait, how do I stop
Yeah.
sharing? There we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
That
Um,
always happens when you're doing events and stuff. But do you feel like overall it was a success?
yes, I do. I
Yeah.
have a ton of new signups. So I did a voice vagina vagus nerve workshop, and the women who came were so into it. They're just really ready to hear this information. And then they came to my booth and we did one-on-one sessions. I I did so many sound healings, and I used my voice, so my voice was pretty shot by the end. So I haven't used it that much.
Mm.
And I worked on somebody who was having a Kundalini crisis. That was wild, and it worked. So it was just amazing. I have a bunch of new people on my list, and I don't even know how much money I made. I didn't even track it. It was like that crazy that I was just like, I was getting money from PayPal and money from Venmo and putting money in my purse.
Yeah.
Like, so I would track that better next time, like have a sheet where I literally write people's names down and write the money down. So that fell through the cracks. Um, I was proud of myself because there were some women that had some pretty big experiences, and I asked them to share a little video testimonial. So I caught a couple of those.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to put some stuff together for social media. Um, yeah, I had some pretty amazing connections. I did schedule a call with one woman, and then everybody else is on my mailing list, and I'll be, yeah, following up with them, sending them my free voice class and a song that I'm working on, a healing.
Yay. Okay. Do
So
you so you did sessions there. Do you have sales conversations already lined up from this?
I booked one sales conversation that's on the calendar, and I did talk with a bunch of other women, but it was like, what I need to do is I need to have my assistant. I need to have an assistant who can and have her
Yeah.
to take, like to book.
The scheduling. Yeah. So you're talking to people and then you can be like, you know what, I'm offering these free sessions. I'd love to get you a spot. Go see so
Yeah,
and so.
yeah,
And just keep funneling them over there. Yeah.
exactly. So like note to self, do that better next time. I thought I'd be able to handle it and that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
also the woman who came and helped me came on at 10 p.m. the night before because my friend who was gonna come had a death in her of a close friend.
Oh, okay.
It was a quick turnaround. So we made the best of it. But I do have one call booked with a woman, and then everybody else, I will be sending my free voice class and I'll be sending follow up emails. And I told them they would be getting a link to book with me. So
Okay,
not
great.
the best because I know emails can fall through the cracks, but it's better than I've done in the past. So there's that.
Yeah, yeah, that's huge. You knew that this was a goal.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
Yay.
yeah. So I also connected with a lot of people who apparently already follow me and know about me that came over to my booth and were like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
do, and I get your emails and I love them." And that
Oh,
was
yay. Those
really.
are those touch points, that exposure. Yeah.
And then I also made some connections with some of the other healers who were there, and we have planned to collaborate as well. Like there was a pelvic floor specialist
Great.
workshop. So I'm going to be putting everybody in my CRM, which is another new thing, and
Yay.
having my VA enter everybody's information into my mailing list. And yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yay, Kimberly, that's amazing. And this was this past weekend?
That, yeah, I just got
So
back.
you're still exhausted from it.
I was supposed to take today off, which is why I got the email and I was like, was that wrong? No, I did that.
Why did I do that to myself?
I've been scrambling to
Yeah.
get ready for our call. So I also had
Okay.
therapy this morning, first thing. So I don't know, whatever. So I had 7 sales conversations last week. I had 8 booked and 7 of them happened. And I have 8 booked for this week. And some of these are from people just finding my website, but some of them are from the emails I've been sending where I've been inviting people to schedule a call with me, and they are. And some of them are thanking me. So
Yay.
yeah.
Yay. How did the ones last week go for you?
Um, Cheryl, I don't even know actually. I'm so barefoot and free. I can't even remember. I think I have I think I have one follow-up booked. I have one woman who I'm talking to again in January. She didn't have the money, but she was so excited. And she's emailed me
Okay.
3 times since we met. And she said, this is really a goal of mine to be able to work with you. And
Yeah.
so it hasn't gone particularly great, but what is new is I'm not, and I kind of want to talk with you about this. The old me wants to just back down, and the way I would book people would be to do a sliding scale or to charge less. And so this time I'm sort
Yeah.
of holding my ground and saying, okay. And when they can't pay, they can't pay, and I just let it be. And that's kind of scary. Part of me is like, maybe I should, because I need to make rise payments, like maybe I should take some people at lower price points. So I might just lower the overall price point just to make sure I'm getting, I don't know. I'm kind of open to your suggestions there.
Yeah. So when Monica talks about raising prices, she talks about how you go through phases after you first bump up your price, where at first most people are gonna be like, holy crap, no. It's just more no's than you've ever gotten in your life. And
That's
that
what's
is very
happening.
scary. Yeah.
That's what's
And
happening.
then it shifts to where they start trying to make it happen, but they ask you to work with them to be like, well, can we do this payment on this credit card and then the next payment on this credit card, but can we do it on this date instead? And she calls that the dancing in the moonlight phase, where it's like they're asking you to do so many things. She's like, it's like they're asking you to do this, can you do that, can you do that, and then can we dance together in the moonlight? Because she's like, their requests just get more and more like, okay. And she's like, and when you're there and you need the money, yeah, you dance in the moonlight with them on it. Um, but that doesn't necessarily equate to giving discounts. It's just helping them be a little more resourceful with where they're getting the money or how they're making the payments happen. So sometimes it's that brainstorming of like, oh, would you be, sometimes I have people who put their different payments on different credit cards, if that helps. So there's that. Discounts, you can, one of the ways that we do it, if you haven't tried it already, is giving them a fast action savings if they sign up during the call or by midnight that night.
I think
um
I have done that a couple times, and that's new for me, and it feels weird. So it's like this little moment of me being funky about it.
Yeah.
So
So you just kind of have to, for this, there's like the reason why yeah. So, and this is another thing about raising your prices is sometimes it takes you a little bit, not you, Kimberly, but just anybody who is raising their prices. It can take you a little bit to um, make that shift energetically yourself as well, to be like,
I
these
know.
are the prices. These are the prices. And that can influence what happens in the sales call and who's coming to the sales call as well.
I totally
Um,
feel like that is happening. Yes.
yeah. So my rule of thumb for the price point that you give is it needs to be something that you're not going to be apologetic or terrified of. It's great if it stretches you a little bit when you first raise your prices, where you're like, I don't know. Is this too much? Like, that's actually an okay place to be in. But if you're like, my energy is shutting it down, then that might be a little bit too much, or you might need to do some healing work around the number. Not even necessarily raising prices in general, but just that number itself. So there could be a lot of things that are going on there, and it's kind of one of those checking in with yourself to make the decision based on, this makes sense and it's good, and I'm not making this decision just out of fear or because it's easier to do it this way. But if there are rise payments that have to happen, if there's money that actually has to come in, then yeah, you can absolutely bump your price down for a couple people, to, however many people you think that would take. But what I would do for that is do it for people that you feel like they would be amazing fits and you would be thrilled to work with them at that lower price point. Because then after you feel like, okay, I've got enough coming in, I can bump it back up. Like, you can have a sales call with someone in the morning, give them a lower price sales conversation with someone a few hours later, and go back to your regular, your
I
higher
haven't
price.
thought of
Like they
that.
don't know. They don't know. It's not like you're locked in for months and months at a time. You can
Right.
raise your price whenever you want to. And so it can just be, you get the first few that you need in to make sure you're making payments, and then you bump it back up. But the reason I say, make sure if you're giving a discount to someone, make sure it's someone that you're like, I really want to work with this person. Because what can sometimes happen is you get locked in with someone at a lower price point, and then like a week later, that energetic shift happens, and suddenly you're getting everybody at your new price, and you're like, yay, this is great. And then you can start to feel a little resentful of the fact that you're still having to do the same amount of work for other people
Other-
at the lower price.
Okay.
So one, I would make sure whatever discount, whatever lower price you do, it's not something that is going too low for you, where you check in with yourself and you're like, yeah, but if I'm still getting paid that 3 months into this program, I'm going to be a little like, like it still needs to be your minimum happy. It's got to at least meet your minimum happy
Okay.
for you and the amount of effort you're putting in. And I would try to give it to the people that you're like, I really, really want them. I want to work with them. So the 7 sales calls last week, if there were any people in that batch that you were super excited about, you could reach out to them and be like, hey, I know we talked last week. I just want to let you know I'm actually going to be running an end of summer sale coming up. Um,
Okay.
it wasn't happening when we spoke, but I enjoyed speaking with you so much. If that's still something that you're interested in, I'd be happy to give you the savings, even though it's before the sale has started.
Okay.
You can like make some kind of thing to have a reason to reach back out to them. I don't know if there was anybody from last week that you really loved.
There was, I don't know if she'd be able to do it.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm like, wow, why? Because I'll ask people, why now? And
yeah,
sometimes I'm like, why did you book right now? Like, because the stories they
yeah,
tell me about their lives right now, I'm like, this is not the time and for you to be
yeah,
taking this on.
yeah.
But, so she just got diagnosed with breast and brain cancer, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
and she really wanted to work with me, but then we talked about the money and it was just like, no, I just don't, I'm putting all the money into my health and stuff. And I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna argue with that. I feel like
yeah,
I help her, but at the same time, no. So, um,
absolutely. Yeah.
I really liked her though. So but I don't know if it would be beneficial to reach back out to her.
Okay.
I could try, I guess.
Okay. So the next thing I'll say is, you have 8 conversations coming up this week. And then you might get some more conversations from those
Yeah.
follow-up emails. You might not. We can't bank on that, but sometimes when you meet people in person, that rate conversion rate can be just a little bit higher than something else. Um, and gosh, it would be really good to get the people that you did stuff with in person because they're usually easier sales.
Yeah.
um, so it could be one of those things where you're like, I'm going to go ahead and lower some prices right now this week because I need to get at least 2 people in paying something. Or you might just look at your numbers and decide, you know what, I'm going to stick it out this week and see what happens and assume that I'm going to get some more sales calls coming up. So it's kind of like looking at your numbers. What's your budget? What expenses do you have coming up? And how urgently do you need some payments coming in? I think.
Well, I had my $9,000 month in June, and then July was like wah wah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that happens.
I made $2,590 in July, so that was like a major tank moment. So yeah, I might
2000 what? 2000.
2,590, so almost $2,600 in July.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
sad, and I didn't make most of that until the very end, so it was a very uncomfortable month. I just breathed through.
Yeah.
I did my emotional freedom technique. I just kept, but it was a kind of rough month.
Yeah. And that is probably going to keep happening for a while. And it's good to know, like, you might have some stellar months and don't bank on that being consistent yet. So don't start spending as if it's going to happen the next month and the next month. What you want to do is immediately put some of that aside for in case you have another July. And what we're building towards is eventually getting to more consistent. There might be some things, and maybe you do a launch, so it spikes one month, but you're expecting that. And then you're expecting it to go back down the following month because you know you're not launching the following month. So getting to a point where things are more consistent and you can project farther out about that consistency. But right now, yeah, things are going to be a little bit spikier until you get that track record where you can look back over months and months and you can be like, yeah, okay, yeah. This is, I haven't dipped below this level in a while. I think I can depend on that at least.
Okay, that's
So
gonna be
that's all normal. But it is possible to work towards consistent $9,000, $10,000, $12,000. It is possible to get a consistent base of that kind of money coming in every month.
well, that's I'm in it to win it for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else
that's
have you got going on here.
um so
Corporate.
we put in our first proposal for a corporate sound healing and have not heard back. So I'm
How long? 2 weeks later? Okay. Yeah.
later. I'm trying not.
Corporate takes a long time.
Okay, that's good to know.
Corporate takes a long time. Sometimes, usually when people start going to the corporate route, the heads up we give is it can take 9 months from the time you start talking to a company before they actually are like, let's start.
Wow.
Because depending on how big the company is and how they make their decisions, it's got to go through different channels. And like, even if the person you're talking to is gung ho and they're like, yeah, I want it, they have to convince other people in the company. And then they have to wait for the funding to come in. And it's just like, there's so many things that have to happen in a company compared to like solopreneurs where you can just be like, yes, please, now let's start tomorrow. So not saying that this company will take 9 months to just get back to you, but it's just when you're doing corporate, you just have to be, you have to steel yourself emotionally and just know that it's going to be a long time. And until you have like a lot of corporate contracts in the pipeline, you just never want to depend on like, I just submitted a $10,000 proposal. Oh my gosh, they're going to say yes, and I'm going to get that next month. Never depend on that happening. So that's why we always tell people when they're trying to start getting corporate contracts, don't drop your individual, like your private programs, because that's still going to be your baseline until you get enough activity happening in the corporate world where you constantly have like each month there's another thing that might be a yes that month because it's been in the pipeline that long.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me feel better. And I have listened to all the corporate stuff, and I plan to go back because my husband and I are putting together a proposal. My friend, Jenny, who is a nurse, she's so into getting us into Sparrow hospitals, and she's been meeting people. She's just met, she thinks, the right people. And so we are working to, she said, I want you to submit the proposal to me. I want to look at it first before and then I want you
Yeah.
to, so she's working on all this. So, yeah, that's in the pipeline
Great.
over on the side, and we're trying to get that rolling. We need to get like a website up and like a promo of what we do so they can have someplace to go and see and hear.
Yeah.
So that's all in the works, and I will continue to submit in the Facebook group as we need help. I didn't have time because she needed the proposal for this other one. We literally had we were on vacation when she sent and asked
Ah,
for it. And I wrote her back and I said, we'll do our best. And I did. And I asked ChatGPT to help, and it wrote a great proposal, I think, but maybe it was too much for them. I don't know. But the date is for October 9th
mm.
is the day that
And
they.
okay, that they would want you. Okay. And
I,
had you had like a sit down meeting to talk about what they needed and what they wanted?
there was no time for that. She literally
Yeah.
said, I was at your sound healing. I love what you do. It's amazing. I want you to come. I have to
Okay.
convince the board. Can you submit a proposal?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
did, and haven't heard back from her. So
Yeah. So you should convince a board, that's going to take time. You don't even know when she's actually going to be able to present it to them,
the reason we had to do it so fast was because she said, I want to present it to the board meeting Monday, which was like 2 weeks ago Monday.
which could have happened, but they
Yeah.
could have run over on other stuff. She might not have been able to. You never know. Um,
We sent
but
an email. We haven't heard back from her. We just said, hey, we're just checking in to make sure you got it and have.
yeah.
Do I just
So yeah, and it's kind of like there's good stuff. She was there, so she saw your stuff in person, which is fantastic. But the fact that you didn't get to have a meeting with her to talk about it
yeah.
is not ideal. So it's kind of like a mixed bag situation. But you can feel good about getting a proposal pulled together, and you
Yeah, I
can
do.
possibly use that for future things.
Yes.
Normally what we want is to have the meeting with them and like really dig into what they want and like kind of design the proposal together.
Yeah, and I did hear that part of the training. It was just she wanted it for Monday, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and who knows if I even did the proposal the right way. I've never done a proposal before. So next time I will hopefully have more time and ask and put it in the Facebook group and get feedback. And
Yeah.
but
But I think we should celebrate that you did it.
yeah, I'm definitely celebrating. And
Yeah.
my husband's like, hey, it's a numbers game. We just have to keep that
Yeah.
in. So
Yeah.
so then okay, so I am wondering, since I now have so many people on my mailing list, unfortunately, I have all these people who have joined my mailing list this entire summer, and I literally have not put them I've just been doing so many things
Into it. Yeah.
into my mailing list. So I'm going to send all their information to my VA, have him input it, have him tag it. And then I'm wondering if I should just send an email to my whole list, or if I should send a separate email to the people who joined the list this summer, then maybe a separate one to the people who joined the list this weekend. Or can I just group this together and say, here's my free Facebook group for all of you who are new. Yay, here's my free, not my free voice class. Here's this, should I just give it to everybody?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you could do it just kind of like if you wanted to do it where the people you met this summer, including this event versus the main list, it would be the same email. You would just like change the first sentence where the new people might be like, oh, it was so wonderful to meet you this summer. Or just so you don't have to be like, but like it can be the same email. Normally when people get onto your email list, you do want the first email to be a little bit of like a yay, and they usually have signed up because they said they wanted a free gift from you. So you're delivering the free gift.
They already are getting that, but yeah, and they will. We have that'll go out. Yeah.
Okay. So this is like after they've already heard from you over email. Okay. That makes it even better. Then you don't even need to do a separate grouping based on who you met. If they've already heard from you after you met them, then they're on your list. A lot of people will do like a nurture sequence before they start promoting to people.
When they get that written, it's just not.
Yeah. But you don't have to have that by any means. And then there are people who talk about how Actually, when someone first joins your email list, that's when you should try to sell to them, because that's when they're the most excited and they remember you and they remember why they were excited to get on your email list in the first
Right.
place. I see a lot of conflicting thoughts about that. Um, so you might get different things from me and Sandra. I'm kind of fine either way. I think it's an experimentation thing to see, like, can you hook people right off the bat? Um, versus nurturing them for a while and kind of letting things simmer. There's like that building that relationship and stuff. But especially if you met them in person, then there's already a little bit more of a relationship in place. But um, what I would do is, in your emails that are selling, if you can still provide some kind of value to them. So there's like a little tiny teaching point in each one, or a thought that where you propose a different thought or a different way of approaching something, even if you're not teaching the how, but just something where even if they're like, I'm not ready to buy something with her yet, there's still something in the email that is valuable to them.
Okay. I have been, because I consolidated my list. So there were people that haven't been receiving emails from me apparently for years now. And now they
Ah,
are, and they've been writing me and thanking me and saying how much
oh,
here, like reading my,
that's wonderful.
yeah, that was really fun, including this. Yeah, I don't need to go into details. Anyway, it's been fun. And other people have been writing me who've been on my mailing list. And they're like, since I've been implementing the Rise stuff, they're just like, we love your emails. Thank you. These are really,
Oh, yay.
so that's been neat. I do have a series of 6 emails that I had adapted from this guy's templates to sell more courses. So
Yeah.
I was wondering about maybe doing a little sale now that I have new people on the mailing list for my online course. And I have,
Yeah, it's
I was
there. Yeah.
thinking about putting them
I think
email.
Ooh, okay, I'm pausing because we don't want to poach from sales calls that could turn into private clients. So I wouldn't send that promotion until after you feel like you've gotten
Sale.
whoever from this current event would be signing up for a sales call, until
Okay.
you feel like you're done, you've exhausted that.
Okay. Maybe meanwhile, I can just pop those 6 emails one at a time in the,
Yeah, just start getting feedback and getting them formatted, and yeah.
okay. That sounds like a good plan. Wow, I think we hit all the points.
Yeah, and then let me back up. Did we last time? Okay. So we talked about your goals. Okay. We had Q3 and we had our baseline was 3,000 a month. So you still got,
Almost.
the baseline minimum. You're still almost there. Um email list, CRM. Yeah, you might not have had time to work on this kind of stuff given everything that you just had going on. Do you have any progress on any of this
I
stuff?
have been putting people in my CRM and using it on my sales calls. Like I'm putting the notes in
Yay.
CRM. Um, and I'm
Bring the
using
customer
that as
section.
like an excuse to follow up with, like to book the follow-up call. I'm like, hey, this is so exciting. Like I get to put this in and my CRM is gonna remind me. So yeah, that's been fun.
Yay.
Um,
And
I
then did you do the migration to ConvertKit already?
no, have not done that.
Okay.
In fact, I think
Okay.
it might be a while before I do that. Honestly, it's just
Okay. Yeah. And then how's the consistency? You said you have been emailing?
so I now have we had my VA doing a bunch of stuff and then he emailed me and he was like, I can take over now on your emails if you want me to. So
Yay.
I am sending him the copy. He's putting them together, then I go in and okay it and kind of tidy it up and then send it. So that's huge, Cheryl, to have that help. So he already,
Yay.
I had 2 emails ready to go. I emailed them both to him. He sent one last week and then there's one ready to go for this week.
Awesome. That's great. Then you
Yeah,
said you did review the corporate sales
I did.
class.
I want to
Get
go
this.
through it again, but I have listened to everything.
For July. And then, okay, so the reach out sound healings as a firework with offers and follow up. So these are going. You just did a thing. So you already had these 2 booked basically per month. I think you said going
Yeah,
out for a while. Is that right?
yep. And I have a lot of people, like I said, those healers. In fact, I do have a quick question. one of the women that I talked to, she came in and she said, I just can't believe what you're doing. This is just incredible. And I am, she's in the nonprofit world. She works with addiction. And she said, it's not for
Ah,
everybody, but she said, I feel like you could just be really powerful in coming in and working with them. So I, normally I would have been like, oh, maybe I'll make 150 or $200. But now in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is nonprofit. Is this corporate? Like, so I do want to, when I connect with her further, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a sense maybe of what I might be looking at. I don't know if you even have the answer to that, but
yeah, I think in most cases it's still a very similar process for the sales process. Sometimes nonprofits will have much lower budgets.
that's what I,
Um,
yeah.
and if it's like super, super low, but you're like, I still want to do it, then there is you can negotiate a little bit like, well, can I offer free sessions as a part of this, like where they can sign up on their own if you think they might be target markets that you're interested
I don't
in.
know that it would be, honestly. I mean,
Okay.
they're-
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I can talk to her. I'll put that in my
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah. Ask her who the target market is, because if it's super low where it's not worth your time and effort financially, and it's not putting you in front of a good target market, then it's definitely less of a fit.
Okay.
So you'll just have to figure out what's going on and if it's something that you want to do because it speaks to your heart and soul, even if the money's not there. But you also have to look at what else is on your plate and how much energy you have. It might be where like you're like, I can't do this right now, but let's touch base again in 6 months. Because there's a chance that, so we have a lot of people who go through Rise where they have target markets and people that they really want to help, but they know that those people cannot afford them.
Yeah.
But they're like, it just speaks to my soul. And usually what we say is get yourself to a place where you're taking care of yourself first,
Okay.
where the money is good, you're stable, you have a handle on your time and your energy,
Okay.
and you can honestly look at something and say, I can do this without the money being what I would normally want it to be. And it's not going to burn me out. I'm not going to get resentful. It's not going to usurp all of my time and energy that should be going toward building my business. So it's kind of one of those, it might be a little bit delayed, but that doesn't mean we never get to help people who can't afford us.
That helps me so much to
Yeah.
know that that,
Yeah. It's that in order to be of service to them and to the people who are paying you, you have to be of service to yourself
right.
first. You have to be
That's the
taking
real
care of yourself. And that includes the money.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Heard. I have one more celebration to just add back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I told, so when I did my voice vagina vagus nerve workshop, I, first of all, I was like, should I have named it that? Like, am I going to freak everybody out? But the women who came, I was just like, you know what? If they don't like it, then they won't come. If they're afraid of
And
that
it was
word.
vagus nerve. Is that what you said?
Voice,
Oh
vagina,
my,
and vagus nerve.
oh
Yeah,
my
the three
God.
V's. And it was so good. They were so into it. And I mean, it was, yeah, it was really beautiful. But what I did, I was really proud. I introduced myself, which I didn't used to, I mean, maybe I would say my name is Kimberly, but I would never have taken the time to say this in my business. So I introduced myself and then I used my little verbal message in its own little way and told them who I worked with and what my specialties were. And then I told them the story, like I used my signature story. Yeah. So I was
How did
really,
it feel?
it feels like I need a little bit more practice with it, but it felt like it landed, like they were there with me.
Ah,
And one of the, like people kept coming up after and saying, thank you for sharing your story. It's so inspiring to hear.
oh,
So
I love it.
it happens. Yeah. And I feel like I'm getting it dialed in. It's the story of my dad, disowning me at my master's recital and how much that tanked my nervous system and my career, and my health.
Oh,
So my point is, it's really our voices and our nervous systems are, really so central
tied together.
to
Yeah.
our health, to our relationships, and to our livelihood. So it was really cool that,
I love it, Kimberly. I love it. I love it.
that
Oh, I've
and
got my next person in the waiting room, so I've got to jump, but I love that. Yay.
hi Tara.
All right. Bye.